Hello and welcome to section 2 for Auto CAD for Landscape Architects. In this section we're going to go over a little bit more advanced tools in Auto CAD, at least some things I haven't shown you yet. The mirror tool, how to bring in an image is probably the biggest thing, and how to trace that, and how to scale, also pretty big, pretty important. One thing I neglected to mention, I'm sure there was a lot of things in section 1, is panning. Just draw a line to show you. Get started. You notice that a hand pops up. You see this icon. What I'm doing is I'm clicking on my trigger button on the mouse of the wheel, and I'm holding it in, and that allows you to pan. Something pretty simplistic, but if you don't know, you don't know. Okay. So let's begin. First things first. I've already created some layers in this drawing. I always stress layer management. It's very important. I'm going to create another layer, and I'm going to call it image, and I'm going to make this white. Now for pen settings, and some of the sophomores, they were selecting colors to draw in. The only colors that, for LDI at least, I don't know about the other ones, and if you make your own, you can pick any of these colors, but for the LDI pen setting that I'm giving you all, they only respond to these index colors here, these major colors. So for instance, if you have a red here and you try to put on the LDI 2007 settings, it's going to print this color. It's not going to print black. So in order to have your drawing print black and with line thicknesses, you have to use these colors for your pen settings. Alright, so keep that in mind. Alright, so I have my image layer, and the first thing I'm going to do is type in IM, enter, and I'm going to click attach. And you're going to navigate to the file. And I've already done this one, so it's going to it, but example projects and JPEGs, and there we are. So you pick the file that you want, click open. You'll see this image, I guess this box prompt come up, and you'll see insertion point, specify on screen, scale, specify on screen, and the path and all that stuff. Don't worry about the path. Full path, leave it set to that. Specify on screen the insertion point. When it's selected, just basically allows you to point and click where you want the drawing to go. Same thing with scale, allows you to drag and manipulate it. Now if you did say you did some kind of trace drawing, and you had a set scale like 20 scale, using 100 scale, something like that, and you know what the scale is going to be, then you can type that in now if you would like. We're going to scale these drawings anyway, so it doesn't matter, so I'm going to leave the box selected. So I'm going to click OK, put my drawing in. So here's the drawing we are going to make, or we are going to copy. To put drawings in, they have to be either JPEGs or TIFFs, I believe. So it does not, you can't use PDFs or anything like that, so it has to be pretty much a TIFF or a JPEG image. Also, take this time to tell you about units. Units are basically how you draw. It defaults to decimal, or you can go to architectural. What that means is, typically you'll draw in corporate, you'll draw everything in engineering, because the rest of the world is in metric. So as opposed to typing 3'-6 inches, you would just simply type 3.5. It's faster, it's easier, so that's what I use. But if you would like to change this, you do that by typing units. So you type units, enter, and you'll see it defaults to decimal. But if you wanted to select architectural, click OK. If you wanted to have 3'6 inches, you would type 3'-6 inches to get that line to be the size you want it to be. That's too much work for me, so I would recommend you stay in decimal. Now, when you do like for Perry's class, sophomore class specifically, when you're doing these sections, or he's asking for a ½ inch scale or quarter-inch scale, you can still duplicate that. You just do the math. For instance, for a ½ inch scale, when you and I'll show you all this in section 3 when you do your layout, you would just simply type 1 to 2 as opposed to 1/2, just the way the conversion works, and I'll explain that in more detail in section 3. I just want you guys to understand that. Let's go ahead and scale this thing too. There's different ways to scale. You can scale just with the image if there's a known size, or you can draw a line and then touch the lines, but either way you're doing the same thing. So to scale, you're going to type in SC, enter. I'm going to select the image, enter. Specify base point, 0 is fine. Reference R, enter. And I know that in this drawing I drew this wall to be 1 foot. So I'm going to click to this point here. I'm going to put my ortho on. I'm going to come up to this point, click there, and I'm going to type 1, enter. Okay. So now my drawing is scaled. Now, align. Let me show you something else. You can also use the align tool to scale, but more importantly, it allows you to straighten your drawings up. Because oftentimes you'll scan trace in, and you'll come in and it'll be crooked. Like this is obviously straight, but it'll come in crooked. So say for instance it came in crooked, and I'm going to rotate this now just to demonstrate that, and also demonstrate rotate. You rotate by typing in RO, enter, select the object, enter, select the point of rotation, and I'm just kind of take off my ortho. I'm going to tilt this thing up a little bit. Okay, so say you scanned in the image and it was kind of, cockeyed like that. You're like, well, obviously it's going to make it more difficult to use ortho to do those straight lines. So you want to get it straight. You do that by aligning your image to a straight line. So I'm going to draw a line, put my ortho back on so I know my line is straight. I'm going to type in align, A-L-I-G-N, enter. Select the image, enter. I'm going to zoom in. Click here in that corner, click here, click back to that corner, enter. It's going to see, and it allows you to scale as well. Scale objects based on alignment points. We don't need to because we've already scaled the drawing. So we're going to hit N for no, but what it does do is get that thing straight again, so we have a straight image, a straight building line. So now we're going to begin to trace this thing. Make sure you're on the right layer, so I'm going to go to building, type in PL, enter. My ortho should still be on. I'm going to turn off O snap. So there you go, boom. And that's another reason why I like having my crosshairs across the screen, and I'll show you how to adjust those too. Talk to some of the sophomores about that, but you can really customize your interface, your AutoCAD interface, changing the colors of your background and the size of your crosshairs and so on and so forth. I'll do that in a second. Let's draw this thing first. So I have this line, continuous. I'm going to offset, so O, enter, and then I'm going to type through. Now you can offset a specific distance by typing something in. In this case, I don't know how wide I made my building, so I'm just going to type T, enter for through. I'm going to click on the line I want to offset, and then click on the other side. And there you have it. So now you have the offset line. Now you'll oftentimes, and this is from a CAD drawing, so it should be pretty dead on, but a lot of times you'll find that when you hand draft, it's not going to be precise. We're human beings. That's okay. You just want, you want your CAD is to make things real. It's to make things refined. So that's okay as long as you have the base foundation and you're able to duplicate what you're trying to do, because CAD is for cleaning things up. Okay, so I have my offset line. I want to close this off now so I can put a hatch in. So I'm going to click here and just kind of come over. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Click here and just come over. And now I'm going to use a trim tool. I'm typing TR, enter. Select this, enter, and then select the lines that I want to trim. And you'll see how they disappear. Because I want to make sure all these are connected. I don't want any spillovers. I told you in section 1 that if you have openings, sometimes hatches won't work, and kind of disprove myself slightly, but if it's a big enough gap, it won't. So always work clean, and it definitely will not work when you begin to do fills in Photoshop. So always make sure your lines are connected. whether you're doing it in CAD or hand drawing, always make sure lines are connected. Okay, so there goes our building outline. Now I'm going to finish this off by putting in a hatch. So H, enter. I'm going to pick a solid hatch. It's here somewhere. There it is. Click add point, pick points or add points, click inside of it. Enter, enter. Is it there? No. What happened? Let's try that again. That's something to take. Well, obviously there's a break in the line somewhere because it's filling to the back. But something to keep in mind. You see that when I click on it turning blue. That's because the hatch is being put behind my image for some reason. So when that happens, a lot of times you're drafting, you won't see your lines. There's a couple of explanations for that. Either your line is turned off here and you're still in a layer and it won't show, or your image is above your line. So to fix that part, the image being above it, you click on the image, right click, draw order, and you want to go send to back. Okay. And why it's spelled out, I do not know. It must be a break in the line. To toggle your image on and off, type IM again, click on the drawing and just go unload. Click OK. No, it looks like it's connected to me. I don't know why it's spilling over. Let's try doing the hatch now and see what happens. Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that. Let's see, hatches are really temperamental sometimes too. Okay, well, I'll take this opportunity to show you something else. I'm going to make this one connected whole segment, and I'm going to do that by using a tool called polyline edit. So I'm going to go PE enter, M enter for multiple, and I'm going to click on everything together. Enter, and I'm going to type J for join. Enter again. Fuzz distance, I just 1. The default to 1, that should be fine. Now when you click on this, there should be one continuous line now. Everything should be connected. Now when I do my hatch, as opposed to going at pick points inside, I'm just going to go select the objects. I'm going to select this object and double enter, and there goes the hatch, since it was being temperamental. And you'll find that when you work with CAD enough, hatches can drive you crazy, because sometimes they work fine and other times it's like an act of God to get them to work. So, okay, IM, and I'm going to click on my image again and type reload, or click reload, and it'll pop back up. And we have a building outline. Now let me break here, and let me show you, like I said, you can control the size of your crosshairs, which is what you see going across the screen, and the colors and everything else you have. So you do that by going through tools and options. Your crosshair size, I have it on 100. You can bring it down to, say you have it on 20. Click OK. You'll see that the crosshair size changes. So you can make it small or large, whatever suits you, whatever you're comfortable with. Also, you can select the color of your model tab and layout tabs. I always use black now because the colors read better on black. It's hard to see a yellow on a white background, and to me, in my mind, black just works better. But you can literally make it anything you want. So say I'm in model tab and I want it to be, I don't know, like a brown color or something. Click OK, apply. You see the backgrounds? That's horrible. I don't know who would want to use that, but you could if you wanted to. Whatever floats your boat. You're the one doing the work. But I just use everything as black. But like I said, it's up to you. It's your world. Okay, so we have the building outline done. That was pretty easy. Now as I go through these second sections, or begin to kind of draw this drawing, I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'm just going to go over the basics. When I get the tool, when I demonstrate the tools that I want to show you all, I'll pause and I'll show you a completed drawing, so you would see what it looked like if you had finished it, and how the layers help it read. But I just want to show you these are the basic tools, and then I want to bring over some blocks and show you how to create a block too, so you guys know how to do that, to bring your people and stuff in like this. Okay, so we're gonna go to walls. Where are they at? proposed wall. And you'll notice that I do proposed wall hatches too. I'll have a layer, and I tend to have the hatch inside so I can separate and turn them on and off. I did not do that with the building because it's just a building outline. I didn't think it's necessary because it's not going to change. So let me find my proposed wall. Okay. So I'm going to type PL again. Let me snap back to this with F3 or click on the snap icon. I'm going to bring this line straight down and cross over here. Yeah, I want to hit the thing dead on. So actually, let me do that separately. Let me click here. Always work clean. Always work clean. It's a bad habit to take shortcuts and stuff. Always work clean. It's going to make your work look better, and it's going to make it easier for you to make corrections, and even more important as you begin to work in team settings, especially your senior year, especially when you work professionally. It makes it easier for somebody to come back after you and pick up where you left off, and that's huge. Because it sucks working after somebody who just did sloppy work and you're cleaning up stuff. It's not fun. Okay. Now I know that I made this thing a foot, so I'm offset and then type 1, enter. Offset, offset. Let me come back over here. Ortho should still be on. I'm just going to cut where this thing would break at. Okay. Now I'm going to trim, TR, enter. Trim this thing. Same thing, TR, enter. And enter, and then select your lines and just trim. Okay. So there goes my first exterior wall at least. And now let me do this wall as well. Type PL, enter. Get here. Looks about right. Turn my ortho off so I can get that line to kind of come down. A, enter to make it arc. Bring this thing over. Looks good. And now I'm going to adjust my arc. I'm just going to bring it in like so. And there you have it. I'm just going to pull that line in. You know you can, and you'll be able to pull segments into one another too when you're drawing. Trim that. Then I'm going to offset through. So you got that second wall. Let me trim that again. Okay. And now the second part, I'm actually going to do 1/2 of this wall, and then I'm going to mirror the rest of it. And you'll see how powerful mirror tool can be. Especially when we'll do one of these and we'll mirror it, and then we'll mirror that again, those two, and it makes things a lot quicker. So let me get this one started. Coming out here, come down. And let me bring that down. Smooth this arc out some so it doesn't look so bad. Looks good to me. Now I'm going to use in order to do the mirror, we need a midpoint. So I'm going to do the length of this building, and you'll see that when I did that, it gives me that midpoint. I'm going to have my ortho back on and bring that line straight down. Then I'm going to trim where I overlapped right there on this side. Now I'm going to type in mirror, M-I-R-R-O-R, and somewhere on this line, and just keep my ortho on to drag straight down and enter again. And now I have a continuous segment. It's a little off, but it'll be alright. I don't know why, really, to be honest, I don't know why it's that much off. Let's try again. It's doing that. It's doing it the same way. Okay. You would trim that. Alright. And then I'm going to join this because I want to be able to offset that. PE multiple. Enter, join, 1. And there you go. So now you have the same line. Now we'll just be able to offset that. So we'll offset that. I think I made it 1.5. And there you go. That's a big deviation right there. Why it's doing that. Rather than me trying to troubleshoot this, it's you all are getting the general idea. I probably wouldn't do it like that though. If I was doing this drawing for real, I would figure out why I was doing that, and could be that when I aligned it again, it came off a little crooked, and that's why it's doing that. But it's good enough to show you guys how to use the mirror tool and why it's important to know how to use it. Okay. So now that we have those done though, now we'll put in a hatch, and I'm going to go to my proposed wall hatch. I'm going to type in H, enter, and I'm going to hope this thing is not as temperamental as it was last time. I'm going to pick the line ANSI this time. Now you can select the angle of these hatches too. It's going to be 45 degrees. It's, I figured it was tilted at about 45, so I'm going to bring it back. So I had set 45 before. I'm going to select these points. Hope it doesn't trip. And it looks like it's doing alright right now. Oh, I didn't trim that. So let me go back and do that. Let me cancel. Let me trim this thing first. Now go back and do hatch, H, enter. Oops. Let me go to ANSI. Click that. 45, okay. So there. Oops. So now it's tripping. Sometimes it does that. See, CAD can be glitchy sometimes like that, and you see that the lines are behind your image again. So if that happens, it's okay. Just grab the image again and go draw order and send it back. Or sometimes typing in RE enter will do it too. So hatch again. Do it again. 45. Okay. That's duplicating it. Let me see if that works. Hit enter, enter. And let me turn my image off just to see what's going on. Okay, so obviously it was spilling out somewhere, so we don't want that to happen. So let's try to refine that a little bit. And this is why I do things in layers too. What I'm going to do right now is just isolate my wall layers. And I'm going to close them off to make it easier for the hatch to read. But if everything's on the same layer, obviously you couldn't do that. You would turn everything off. So always work in layers. Now let's try this again. I'm in the wrong layer right now, but I'll fix that. Let me go back, lay on, turn everything back on, and I'm going to click those, and I'm going to put them on the proposed wall hatch. Now you see they're kind of big. I'm going to turn my image back on now too. Or it's kind of dense. And compared to what we had in the drawing, they're too big, so we're going to make them fit. You do that by clicking on the hatch, right click, properties, and changing the line hatch scale. So let's try like 3. And that looks pretty good to me. Alright, so we have our hatch in, so that's cool. Now let's make one of these planter bed / seating nook. nooks. I guess it's plural. It's more than one. Where am I at? Let's go back to the. I guess I did it in the wall layer before. Okay, so I'm on my wall layer, and I'm just gonna kind of bang this guy out right here. So bang, and I'll do the seating second. Come on, I got my ortho on right now to keep my line straight. Get here and A, enter, turn the ortho off. And we'll fix the that curve of that radius there. We'll pull it to the appropriate side. Turn your ortho back on and come back down. Oop, nah, yeah, it's gonna. It's still it's still doing the arc because I didn't tell it to go back to line. Tell it to go back to line. You hit L, enter, and put your line back on. Take away the arc. Come down. Come over. Right about there, I guess starts the arc. Hit A, enter. I'm gonna turn my ortho off to get this. Try to get this line straight. And I did this thing in freehand initially to get this curve to look right. And then I just refined it in CAD. So when I do it this time, I'm going to draw it exactly the way it was. It was a pain to get the shape in. But you'll get the general idea. And you can use as many segments as you want to copy. I try to avoid too many of them. Try to keep it as you know, the radius is as simplistic as possible, but you can get a pretty good trace if you just click, click, click. Makes it easy to do these segments. So snapping. You can always Control Z on the line too to get it back to go back where you want it to. Here and there, and I'm gonna hit L again and put my ortho back on and come straight down. There we go. Hopefully, yeah, it's overlapping, so we're just gonna trim that. Okay, and then we should have our shape minus that little lip right there. And all you do is just pull that out, turn the ortho off. And there you go. And then I will offset it to get this here. And then I'm gonna use the tool call. What I'm gonna do is break this line. I just want to have that arc really. That's what I wanted to borrow. So I'm gonna break this. Type in break. Click here on the line. Click on the side you want to break, and it just breaks the line. Okay, so I don't need that part. And I want to keep this in line with that. So ortho, bring it over. So I guess I don't need that little segment either. So I'll break it even further. Here, don't need that. And I'm going to use the extend tool, EX, enter, click on it, what I want to extend to, enter, and then click that line. So I'll have that. And I'll do the same thing on the other side here. Ortho's on already. Bring it past. Type in break. Alright, sorry about that. Okay, so I'm going to extend this. Okay, TR. Alright, trim that. So now I have my shape. Now, rather than having to draw that all over again, we're going to use a mirror. That's going to be this point to right there. And I'm going to draw a mirror line here to that. I don't need that. And I'm going to type mirror, M-I-R-O-R. Select everything. And I'm going to hold shift to deselect that line because I don't want to select that mirror line. Grab the midpoint and just drag straight down. I have my ortho on to keep it straight, so I'm not deviating, so I'm keeping that angle. And there you go. then I'm going to do the same thing here. Mirror. And bring it over this way this time. And there you go. So we drew one thing and we got them all in pretty quickly. You see how fast that is. And now as far as my plant material, I'm just going to go to my shrubs and use the diameter. Some of these are 2, I think 1.5, so D, enter, 2, enter. And there goes a shrub for me. And I'll use it as a base. Turn my ortho off. I'm not going to do all these, but you know, you would just basically copy and get your stuff together. One thing I need to refine in doing these drawings is the overlap. But the Photoshop stuff is still evolving, but I think it's still the way to go. And obviously this is a little off, but you all can fix that. Not a big deal. Okay. So that's really basically how you begin to draw and do your drawing. I don't know if I showed you guys fillet last time or not. If I didn't, let me just show you what that does. Why the fillet tool is pretty powerful to use to get that clean radius. You can just trace it at this point because I have it drawn. But basically, what fillet does, if I have a it's my ortho on. Well, it was on. Draw a line here, and then I have another line coming off. And you can either click the icon here or just type it in. Well, type a radius first. Radius, I don't know, 3. Enter. Click on a line, it'll create that that curve for you. So when I drew this initially in CAD, I drew it by hand first, and then I specified. I think it was like a 3-foot rail. I can show you. So I had this thing coming off here. Then I had the curve. Kind of here, and kind of curving around. Just do a straight line like that. Trim the edges, and then you can fillet. And I don't know if I did 3, but we'll find out. 3 selected, 3, and then yeah, it wasn't 3. Maybe 1.5. Yeah, it's closer. Maybe 2. Yeah, see, and that's how you do it. Well, you can just trace. It's not a big deal, but that's how fillet works. Now let me show you how to do. That's the basic stuff. And you just go on to draw the whole thing using those same principles. Basically, it's pretty simplistic. Let me show you how to bring things in from that internet site. I already have it up here. It's cben.net. It's been up for a while. There's tons of sites you can get free stuff from, free CAD blocks. So I mean, this has been up since we were in school though, so this is what I always use. Basically, you can pick on what you want here. I don't know why this thing isn't showing. It's been like that now. I can't really scroll through it, but plan view. You can if you want people, you can go to plan or elevation in 3D. I'm gonna go to plan, and then you click on next. And these people here. Now you can't download it into the system, but I think it'll allow you to open it at school. So just click on it. It'll come up and just open as opposed to saving. And it'll bring these people in you already have. And then what you do from there is just copy it into your drawing. If they're on 0 layer, now that's fine. So Control C it. To get back to my next drawing, this little tip, you can hold Control and hit Tab, and it'll bring you to the other drawing in CAD. Control V for paste. I don't see them sometimes. Unless we tiny or really big, they're really big. Okay. Again, you scale. Select all these guys. Enter. 0. I'm using reference. I'm going to say this guy's shoulder to shoulder is. I'm going to say he's about, I don't know, 1.5. got these people, and they should be a lot more appropriately scaled. Yeah. And basically that's how, you know, they're so little tiny. But you can adjust them, you know, try to get the proportion of somebody's body and how they fit into your drawing, and keep on playing with them until you get something that worked. I played, obviously, some of these I use in this drawing. I guess I got him from someplace else. But that's basically how I put people in. And you do the same thing with trees or cars or anything. I mean, I'll show you trees too. Back to C-bend net, and we go to trees and plan trees. There's tons of stuff you can get. And like I said, there's a lot of sites you can go to, and there's actually a block library in your CAD too. I very rarely use it. I just, you know, when I do line drawings, construction drawings, I don't think it's necessary to have something that's so ornate. I think it actually it actually is too fussy and makes the construction drawing too complicated. It should be very simplistic, easy to read, and just the diameter of your circle and showing placement and species. So all this is unnecessary to me. And when I'm rendering, I do it in Photoshop, so I might download a couple of these, but I have a library that I'm beginning to create, so I already have them done, so I don't need to do it. So there's one. So we'll download and open the file up. And you'll see this one is just tons of trees, and these guys even have a hatch to them too. Now there's also a program called Land Effects that we have at school. I don't know if it's on all the computers. We're trying to get you guys the latest software. There's so much out there now, and you know, the industry's really changing a lot from hand graphics to things like this. And I mean, hand graphics is so very, very important to me to design, but as far as production, I mean, there's a lot of cool software out there. Autodesk, which is, you know, essentially Auto CAD, an extension of it. They have a lot of cool things you can do too. And there's actually a website. There is a sophomore, Leland, that he found a site and had some information on different things you can download for trial periods for free. And there's a lot of software out there, and so really explore. But you can ask him, or I think Darlene might have that list of information, or Perry now too, to get that. But there's tons of information out there, and there's a lot of different programs. And explore. That's why you're in school now. You know, try to find better ways of doing things. Well, I guess you gotta learn how to do it first. But then, as far as production and stuff, it's all about, you know, getting your idea out there and making things short, or think your graphics are tight and you know, legible, and conveys the idea. But anyway, do the same thing. If you want these trees, you can take and copy one and bring it back over to your drawing, and Control V and put it in, and then you can scale it. Base point, I'm just going to bring it out, and whatever you wanted, and you get your trees. And you would set them to your layer, your appropriate layer, and get the line weights according to the line weights you're using for your pen settings, and so on and so forth. And that's basically how you bring in blocks from the internet. If you wanted to make a block, say you wanted to make a tree. Okay, so I'm going to have this here and grab the midpoint of it, you know, there. Now the Revision Cloud tool also allows you to make an object, a polyline, into the Revision Cloud, you know, radiuses basically. Type in O for object, enter, click on it, enter again, there you go. If you want to make that to a block, you simply, or anything, if I wanted to make that into a block or anything, type in B, enter, and define it to give it a name. Select object, it's going to be everything here, click on it, enter, pick the point, pick the center point, enter, click OK. Now you have a block. Let me show you guys a really cool tool, and until you're doing much larger scale drawings or parking lot putting in striping, you won't really be able to appreciate it, but I was super excited to learn it, so I'm going to go ahead and show you now since I have this block made. Say I have a planter strip. Say I have a planter strip that's 6 foot wide. I'm going to do a third line 3 feet to make it the center point, and I want to have trees all along that, and I'm not sure what the diameter of this is. It's probably close to that. So what is this? That's 38. Okay. So the diameter of this thing is roughly, we'll say 38 feet, right? And typically you want your trees just touching. Typically you draw trees professionally 30 foot on center or 25 foot on center. That's what I did, at least in Charlotte. So, but I'm gonna use this tool called Measure and type in ME, enter. I'm gonna select that midpoint and I'm gonna type in block B, or just B for block, and I called our block tree. And it's going to ask me if I want to line the block with object. I'm going to say yes, and to specify the length of the segments. And I want it to be that's a 38 or 39. Let's call it 38. And then it'll just plop these trees down for you. It does it automatically. So, like I said, you really can't appreciate it until you're doing large sketches and these large plans, or if you're doing parking lot striping, which sucks to me. It's just that's the not fun part of what we do. But it makes things a lot easier. It makes that makes that job a lot easier. So it's a cool tool, and it's called Measure. All right. I have another. Basically, I have this thing finished down here. This is what it looked like when I finished my drawing, and when I plotted the other one off of. And as you can see, it reads a lot better when you have different colors and your layers, and I can isolate anything I want. And got my people set as blocks, and there's your drawing pretty much. That's what you'll end up with, something like that. And then I'll just take that drawing basically and print it to PDF and begin rendering it in Photoshop. And from here I can also just label and get my radiuses and stuff when I do my construction documents. And yeah, that's pretty much what you do. Let me show you something else for hatch. I'm thinking about it. Hatch is smart too, sometimes. Say that I didn't want to. I just wanted to hatch everything around that circle. I can click outside of it, enter, and it should be smart enough. Typically, it doesn't give you too much trouble, and won't hatch in that field. And as you see, like I don't have anything hatched where this rose pattern is going to be in the pavement, and it doesn't go into my bed, and that was all me isolating. Now sometimes I could be a pain in the butt to get it to do that, and you have to draw. It was for this one especially because I had stuff overlapping. It wasn't that fun to do, but it makes the drawing read better, and you don't want your hatch spilling into areas that you don't want it to. It doesn't look good. It looks like sloppy work. So take the time to do it right. And that's basically section 2. Just drawing, bringing in your image. And that was with IM. Scaling. You guys understand scaling hopefully now and can scale something. Using your align tool. And drawing using your polyline and mirror and stuff. The next section is going to be section 3, and it's going to be creating a layout. Understand the difference between layout and model space, and setting your scale through your layout. And I'll show you how to get a 1/2 inch and 1/4 inch scale using while still in engineering. So it'll be easy for you to type in 3.5, and unless you, like I said, unless you want to do the architectural way, which is your prerogative. And I'll show you also line type scale and paper space scale and how that applies, and to help your drawing read better. And then we'll do the whole page setup and apply pen setting. And hopefully by the time you all get this tutorial, we'll have the pen settings on your computers, and also the North Arrow font. If I haven't showed you guys this, I'll show that too. It's not really anything. You can use it in CAD, but once the font's set, you can use it in anything. But it's a cool font we had when I was there. Let me do an M text. Click here. And I don't know if I had this on part 1 or not, but in case I didn't, let me show you. Thing called North Arrow Assortment. Let me make this thing bigger. Basically what it does, make sure your caps lock off, but it makes every key, like your number keys and all your letter keys, into a different type of North Arrow. So it's just something kind of fun, to draft your North Arrow. Sometimes I'll still draft my own. It's part of drawing, gives something that make it more artsy. But if I'm being quick, then a lot of these look good, and you can just rotate them depending on what direction your north is, and that's just a little cool little thing. And hopefully this will be loaded too. Just a font. So It's kind of a cool thing though. But anyway, thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful for you guys. If you have any questions, like I said, ask me or email me, and it's w.chris, chris.harrison, harrison @gmail.com. Ask Perry or get on Google, or also talk to one another and talk to your upperclassmen, even some of your lower classmen. You'd be surprised who comes in and what they know. Pick their brains. And like I said, explore, find out, get online, ask questions, see what software's out there, and challenge us, because there's so much out there right now, and people are coming up with these new ways of conveying these ideas and making things more efficient. So there's a lot of different ways to do one thing. There's a program called SketchUp that's out there right now, and it's free if you guys haven't heard of it, and allows you to pop things up three-dimensionally. It's pretty easy and pretty quick. But then I was in software studio, and I got somebody showed me Autodesk. Like Leland was showing me Autodesk and how you can pop things up there too. I mean, there's tons of ways to do things, and while you're in school, explore and find out the best way it works for you, and use it. So this concludes section 2, and like I said, section 3 is going to be basically layout and page setup and allowing you to print, and how do you have title blocks and whatnot. All right.